Hello everyone. Today we're going to be finding the missing sides of each triangle and leave our answers in simplest radical form. So, how do we find the missing sides of each triangle? Well, since each triangle is a right triangle, that means I can use something called the Pythagorean theorem. Pythagorean theorem goes something like this. If I have a right triangle with side lengths a, b, and c, then a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. How does this work? Well, let's try it out on number one. The important thing to look at is the right angle in your triangle. What I always do is look for which side of the triangle is opposite to the right angle. In this case, it would be the side length that has 14. What this always tells me is that 14 is going to be my C value. The C value is always your hypotenuse, and your hypotenuse is always the longest side slash whatever side is opposite to the right angle. So to fill in my C, it's going to be 14 squared. I set that equal to a squared and b squared. Now, it doesn't matter what two values you pick for a and b as long as you get your c value right. But in this case, if I'm following my diagram on the bottom right, I'm going to say that x is my a value, so I'm going to write instead of x squared plus my b value, which is 5 squared. To continue from here, well, x squared is going to remain x squared. 5 squared is 25. And 14 squared, well, if you can't do it in your head like I can't, you can always multiply it the old-fashioned way. 4 times 4 is 16. 1 times 4 is 4, plus 1 is 5. Carry a 0 down. 1 times 4 is 4. 1 times 1 is 1. And if you add it up all together, you get 1. 6 plus 0 is 6. 5 and 4 is 9. So 196. 196. What do we do from here? Well, x squared is going to be still the same, but we're going to subtract 25 on both sides. Minus 25. And if you do 196 minus 25, well, you just carry it, so 6 minus 5 is 1. 2 minus 9 is 7, and the 1 stays down, and again we have x squared since the 25's canceled out. If x squared is equal to 171, well, then x is equal to the square root of 171. And when we get our answer in simplest radical form, which I'm going to save for the next video, you will find out that your answer is actually x equals 3 times the square root of 19. That would be your final answer. So that's part 1. Now let's look at part 2. Again, look at our right angle. Our right angle is, or the side across from the right angle is going to be the side that has x. So our c value is x squared. Set that equal to 8 squared plus 7 squared. 8 squared is 64 plus 7 squared, which is 49, equals x squared. Now we can just add these two together. So 60 plus 40 is 100. 4 plus 19 is 13. 100 plus 13 is 113. And that gets us our x squared. And that means that x must be equal to the square root of 113. And you will actually find out, hopefully, that square root of 113 is a prime number, so it cannot be simplified any further. Therefore, the simplest radical form is the square root of 113. Now, you do not have to do all these crazy calculations like I did, most likely on your own. But if you ever get caught without a calculator, you could always use one. So if you didn't feel like calculating, let's say 14 squared, well, you just take 14. Well, first you turn your calculator on, 14 squared. Get the 196 that we got there. And then, subtract the 25, get the 171, hit second square root of 171, and you're going to get some number. Now this number here is not in simplified radical form, so if you do get to this point, you are going to have to know how to put it in simplified radical form, at least until you get to the square root part.